In previous video, we have learned about Newton's universal law of gravity, and our next point is magnitude of centripetal force that is given in your book. But if you read that point, you easily don't understand that what is the exact aim behind this law. तुम्ही पुस्तकात जर मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ सेंट्रिपेटल फोर्स हा जर पॉईंट वाचला तर त्यांना नेमकं काय प्रूव्ह करायचं पुस्तकात हे चटकन लक्षात येत नाही. सो लेट इस गो अ स्टेप बॅक. In previous video, we have learned about Newton's universal law of gravity, and in that there was an equation. That equation was F is equal to m1 m2 upon r square. So this law says that the force between two objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses. It is easy to understand. That means if we increase the mass of two objects, their product will be more. And if this product is more, obviously force will be also more. But there is a question that how Newton came to know that same force is inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. म्हणजे न्यूटनला नेमकं कसं कळलं की जर त्या दोन ऑब्जेक्ट मधला डिस्टन्स आपण काय केला, डबल केला, तर ती फोर्स 4 पटीने कमी होणार. त्या काळात सुद्धा आणि आता सुद्धा एखाद्या प्लॅनेटमध्ये किंवा स्पेसमध्ये जाऊन ही फोर्स नेमकी कशी कमी होते हे एक्सपिरियन्स करणं हे अशक्य नाही आहे, पण सहजासहजी शक्य सुद्धा नाही आहे. So here we have to use only mathematics and observations. So in this video we are going to learn that how Newton concluded that force between two objects is inversely proportional to the square of distance between them by using Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law says that the ratio of square of period of revolution and cube of the mean distance of the planet from sun or any star is always constant. या व्हिडिओमध्ये आपण काय शिकणार आहोत, आपण शिकणार आहोत की न्यूटनने ही फोर्स दोन प्लॅनेटच्या डिस्टन्सला कशी इन्व्हर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल असते हे प्रूव्ह करण्यासाठी केपलरच्या थर्ड लॉचा वापर कसा केला. सो लेट अस स्टार्ट, बट वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न रिमेनिंग पार्ट ऑन नोटबुक सो दॅट यू कॅन अंडरस्टँड दॅट पार्ट मोर इझिली. Consider this is a star or sun, and this is a planet that is revolving around this star in a circular path. Then centripetal force F will act on this planet because of the gravitational force of this star that we have already learned in the first part of the chapter. Now, formula of the centripetal force F is equal to m into v square divided by r. Let us call this equation number 1, and in this equation m is the mass of planet, v is the velocity of the planet, and r is the distance between the center of star and planet. Now we are going to find out what is the speed of the planet, and we know formula to calculate speed is distance traveled by moving object divided by time. But in this condition, the distance traveled by this star is equal to circumference of the circle of the path in which this planet is moving. असं का, तर समजा हा स्टार ए पोझिशन पासून मूव्ह व्हायला सुरू झाला आणि तो पूर्ण या सर्कलच्या सर्क्युलर पाथवरून फिरून परत एकडे आला, तर त्याने काय पूर्ण केलं बघा, या सर्कलचा सर्कम्फरन्स पूर्ण केलेला आहे. अँड दॅट इज वाय distance traveled by that planet is equal to circumference of this circle, and that is why let us use for speed of planet v, and formula for circumference of circle is 2 pi r, and for time let us use symbol t, and this will be our equation number 2. Now let us put value of equation 2 in equation 1. That means we are going to substitute value of v, that is 2 pi r divided by t instead of this v. So F is equal to m into bracket 2 pi r divided by t bracket square divided by r. Now F is equal to 4 m pi square r square divided by t square into 1 upon r. F will be equal to 4
m pi square t square, and after dividing this r square by r we will get r. So let us call this is our equation number 3. Now by multiplying equation number 3 by r square, what I will get? I have written here f is equal to 4m pi square r divided by t square. That means I have written same equation here, and now I will multiply this equation by r square. Multiply and divide. So f is equal to 4m pi square r into r square r cube divided by t square r square. Now what I will do, I will just change the positions of some terms. So let us see what happens. F is equal to 4m pi square divided by, I will take this r square here, r square, and I will take this t square separately. So this r cube divided by t square, and let us call this our equation number 4. But according to Kepler's law or Kepler's third law, t square upon r cube is equal to k. So if I take inverse r cube upon t square, then value of r cube upon t square, it will be 1 upon k, and I will give this equation number 5. Now let us put value of equation 5 in equation 4. So once again I will repeat, by putting value of equation 5 in equation 4, let us see what happens. So this is equation 4, and I have written this part of equation 4 as it is. That means f is equal to 4m pi square upon r square. But now instead of this r cube upon t square, I will put this value. So it will become 1 upon k. 4m pi square upon r square. This whole term is constant. Why? Because m is the mass of the planet, that will not change. Pi, value of pi is always fixed. R is the distance between the planet and sun, that will also not change, and that is why this whole term is constant. This part and this part. That is why f will be equal to 1 upon r square. Or in other words, we can say that force is inversely proportional to the square of distance between the two objects, or that planet and sun. And from this final equation, Newton concluded that when distance between the two objects will increase, then force will start decreasing. And in this way, to derive this final equation, he used Kepler's third law.